They say the pen is mightier than the sword, but what about the hand that wields the sword? Or, in some cases, points it in entirely the wrong direction. Welcome to the best and worst military leaders in history, where we explore the brilliant minds who shaped empires and the questionable ones who turned armies into punchlines. Because leadership isn't just about waving a flag or shouting orders, it's about decisions, split-second ones that echo for centuries. And here's our value proposition. By the end of this video, you'll learn what makes a leader truly great, or catastrophically bad. You'll also get a front row seat to some of history's most entertaining blunders. Let's start with the worst, because honestly, what's a highlight reel without some bloopers? These leaders might not have won the wars, but they've certainly won a spot in the history books, and not for the right reasons. First up, George Custer, the guy whose name is synonymous with bad decision-making. At the Battle of Little Bighorn, he ignored advice, underestimated his enemy, and split his forces into three. Because why lose a battle when you can lose it spectacularly? But let's give credit where it's due. Custer wasn't a coward. He charged headfirst into battle alongside his men. Unfortunately, bravery doesn't trump bad planning. The result, a crushing defeat that wiped out 200 of his troops. Imagine declaring war on three bigger, stronger neighbors at the same time. That's not confidence, that's delusion. Enter Francisco Solano Lopez of Paraguay, the man who single-handedly dragged his country into the War of the Triple Alliance. Here's how it went. Paraguay faced Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. Spoiler alert, it did not go well. By the end, Paraguay lost 70% of its male population, its economy, and pretty much its dignity. To his credit, well, at least Lopez didn't quit. He fought to the bitter end. Unfortunately, it was his end that came quicker. Let's not sugarcoat this one. Hitler was a destructive force in history, but when it came to military leadership, he was his own worst enemy. Blitzkrieg tactics gave him early victories, but his refusal to listen to his generals and his obsession with expanding his empire led to catastrophic defeats. Exhibit A, Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of Russia in winter. If there's one lesson history keeps shouting at us, it's don't invade Russia in winter. And yet, here we are. It's like watching someone walk into the same glass door over and over, except with tanks and millions of lives on the line. Now that we've survived the Hall of Shame, let's climb the heights of the Hall of Fame. These leaders didn't just win battles, they changed history, proving that brilliance and boldness can reshape the world. Let's meet the legends. Alexander wasn't just great, he was extra. At 20 years old, he inherited a small kingdom. By 30, he'd built an empire that spanned 3 continents. His strategy? Swift, adaptable, and relentlessly aggressive. Take the Battle of Gaugamela. Outnumbered and outgunned, Alexander used a brilliant flanking maneuver to dismantle the Persian army. It wasn't just a victory, it was a masterclass in precision. Also, let's not forget his branding skills. Founding 70 cities and naming most of them Alexandria, that's ancient world influencer energy right there. Genghis Khan wasn't just a conqueror, he was a force of nature. He united Mongol tribes into an unstoppable war machine, creating the largest contiguous empire in history. His secret weapon? Speed and terror. The Mongols could travel 100 miles a day on horseback, striking fear into enemies before they even arrived. And his use of psychological warfare? Legendary. Entire cities surrendered just at the mention of his name. If you're impressed by leaders who think outside the box or the saddle, smash that subscribe button. Genghis would approve. Napoleon was the blueprint for modern military leadership. His ability to inspire loyalty, innovate tactics, and adapt to any battlefield made him unstoppable. Case in point, the Battle of Austerlitz. Outnumbered, Napoleon lured his enemies into a trap, then crushed them with a perfectly timed counterattack. It's still studied in military academies today. Khalid ibn al-Walid wasn't just undefeated, he was unstoppable. Known as the Sword of Allah, Khalid led early Islamic armies to some of the most decisive victories in history. At the Battle of Yarmouk, he faced an army 5 times his size and won through sheer tactical brilliance. Whether in deserts, mountains, or open fields, he'd adapted to every challenge, a true master of versatility. And when he was demoted, Khalid didn't sulk, he fought as a regular soldier. That's humility, folks. Imagine your star quarterback volunteering to carry water bottles instead of quitting the team. So, what have we learned? The greatest military leaders combined vision, strategy, and adaptability. Alexander conquered with ambition. Genghis mastered mobility. Napoleon innovated like no one else. And Khalid, he redefined what it means to be undefeated. On the flip side, the worst leaders remind us that arrogance, overconfidence, and ignoring advice are a recipe for disaster. But even they teach us valuable lessons, if only through their mistakes. Leadership isn't just about victories. It's about learning, adapting, and inspiring those you lead. Whether you're running an empire or just managing your fantasy football league, take notes from the Hall of Fame and maybe laugh a little at the Hall of Shame. If you loved this journey through history, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more. Because as we've seen today, the right leader can change the world. And the wrong one, well, they make history a whole lot more entertaining.